All right, guys, my name is Michaela. Welcome to What's Tea. It's your girl, Michaela. Um, we got Aaron Harris. Go ahead, Aaron, introduce yourself real quick. Before I do that, we did have a first video. We had some technical difficulties, so we are going to do a little 2-minute introduction. So go ahead. My bad, Aaron.
You're good. Hey guys, my name is Erin Harris. A little more information about me. I do want to thank you, Michaela, so much for bringing us on board for this podcast. It's really dope. It's mid-20s, 20s, talking about different topics that we have going on throughout the U.S. And I think this is a great healing experience for all of us. So, yeah, you can Facebook, Aaron Harris. I'd love to chat with you guys.
All right. And our next.
Hi, my name is Eris Harris Hill. These are all my sorors. We're both of these ladies are my sorors of the best sorority there was to ever exist. Theta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated.
Yes, ma'am.
So yes, we are finer ladies. This is my child. Sorry, she's in the video. Her name is Azriel. And I lost my train of thought. But hi guys, welcome to the podcast.
All right, you guys know me as Michaela Project. As like Aaron, I graduated from Tennessee State University. And by the way, all three of us, well, four of us, for one of us to roll in, but you'll meet her in the near future. But we are all business owners of some such. I have a business called Off the Hook where I do custom crochets. Erin has a business, 1201 Shop Boutique, where she sells the cutest shoes, earrings, shirts. I mean, you guys should really go check her and her sister out. But today's episode 2, sorry you guys missed episode 1. Today, episode 2, we're going to discuss love and relationships. I know this is a very sensitive topic to be one of us, but since a lot of things happening in the world and trying to discuss what's real and what's not and what is not. And so I'm going to go ahead and post a question. What's love to y'all? What does it mean to be loved?
Love is unconditional. Love is accepting someone for who they are, not requiring them to get what I'm saying.
So,
Sorry guys, dinner.
you're fine.
Love goes beyond. Love is it accepts the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah, it goes beyond. It's a deeper relation.
You know, a lot of people have this misconception that love is supposed to be always easy. Like when you enter a relationship, it's supposed to be peaches and creams all the time, and it's not necessarily like that. I think people got the misconception. You know, I kind of have my perception of love as my journey, my walk with God and Christ. I think of it as, you know, I'm not perfect, but somebody is willing to kind of brush all that aside and they'll continue to love me unconditionally. And I feel like people miss that conception when it comes to dating and when it comes to relationships. Like everybody thinks, oh, if you like me, I like him, then what's the problem? Like we can easily be together. So I think people think they have everything it is to make the cake, but don't have the ingredients. What do you feel about that?
I like that. I like how you said that you have everything to make the cake, but you don't have all of the ingredients. And I can agree with that 110%. As you guys may or may not know, I'm willing to put this out there. I was in a 5-year relationship, and I thought it was pitch perfect. I thought ingredients for my cake, but instead I was missing that one thing. Be very transparent with the both of you. I think that I was missing was myself. We try to jump into these relationships hoping that the other person is going to fulfill us, but yet when you jump into a relationship, you should already be fulfilled. You should already have your identity. And I think that's what my hiccup and my issue is.
I think it's amazing how you are able to be accountable for your actions, because a lot of people are not these days.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're the one that's married out of all of us. So, you know, give us the raw uncut of what love is really like to you and your husband.
Love is one day I want to cuddle and be booed up and hugged up, and the next day we about to box. Every day. Because you got to realize you're dealing with a whole other person. Like, y'all two are becoming one. It's hard. Marriage is hard. Anybody wanting to be married, I tell them all the time, don't rush it. Because marrying the person is the easy work. Staying married is the hard part. Because not only are you dealing with your own self, dealing with your own flaws, now you have another person you're taking on. And they're going through their flaws. They're going through, you know, their demons. We all come with some sort of baggage. So now not only are you going through your stuff and dealing with your stuff and healing through your stuff, you have somebody else that you are held accountable for. So it's hard work. Love is not all cupids and hearts.
How do you know
it's not that?
What to put up with and what
Mm-hmm.
not to put up with? Because I feel like this generation has some misconception of, you know, well, not our generation, but our parents' generation, our grandparents and their parents' generation was more.
I feel like they double way too
different.
much.
They put up with more stuff.
It's a lot of, I think putting up with stuff has to do is an individual case by case basis. Because there's some stuff that my mother put up with that I definitely ain't putting up with. Like, I will be in jail. Point blank, period. So yeah, there's that. And my husband knows that. He knows that I will literally kill him if he ever decided to cheat on me. Like, we're not even gonna go there because he already know I'm a tad bit.
Oh, crazy talking over there.
So to be realistic, that's just not something. If it ever comes to that point and either of us cross the line, it's time for us to bounce. But yeah, so that's that. But I definitely think what you tolerate says a lot about who you are, and I think it varies from case to case, from person to person. Because somebody else, I know I was just having a conversation with one of my friends, and they were telling me, well, you know, a man gonna be a man gonna cheat, whatever. So I'd rather him come home every night and have a little side piece. And I'm like, sis, that ain't what's popping, because I ain't putting up with that.
No, well, you know why she's doing that? Because this generation is glamorizing and glorifying whole culture, and
they glorifying entanglements, and that's not cool. It's toxic. Don't take that into. That's toxic. It's not healthy. Because you already.
This is why I tell people, like, y'all say y'all want to live in this relationship. Y'all say y'all want this. Y'all say y'all want that. But like, do you know what comes with it? Do you know your emotions is not naturally built to handle that?
The truth is, we marry, we date on a level that we really see ourselves. So we accept what we think we're worthy of, if that makes sense. Wow. We date and marry at the level of confidence that we have.
That's what I totally agree with that, because that's why a lot of people, I try to tell, you know, give advice to be like, from my experience, take sex out of any equation when you date. Just take it out. Wait as long as you can, because your parents can give you this, you know, little story about,
because sex makes things toxic.
It makes things difficult, toxic. And some dudes just will try to get to you for that, but will wait forever. And once they get it, They out here.
Mhm.
And sometimes the sex ain't worth the demons that come with it.
Sex demons, and that is real. That stuff is real.
Explain, what are sex demons? I'm new to this topic.
I'm saying sex ain't worth the demons, the baggage, the strongholds that come along with it. Sometimes you can get so caught up in somebody's sex game and don't realize how toxic they are, don't realize how emotionally damaged they are. You take on all this other stuff because the sex is good. No thank you, no ma'am,
Exactly.
no turkey, no ham, no bacon.
So when you have sex with them, and their baggage, like Una says, goes into you, and you don't even know. And that's
so now you harboring all their spirits.
And
that's why fornication is a sin. But we not gonna talk about that.
We're gonna talk about it.
I had to learn that the hard way. Like the whole love thing, I had to learn the hard way because I didn't never dated in high school. You feel me? I was so innocent, and then once I got to college, I didn't. It's like you listen to your parents, you be like, whatever, that happened.
You got that taste of freedom.
Exactly, but that ain't gonna happen to me. But in actuality, you go through. This generation is way worse than their generation now. So it's like I was trying to cover up trauma with other things, and I was the way I should cope. And I was running from myself, if that makes sense.
I grew up, like you said, I never dated in high school, really. But once I had a 5-year relationship.
I'm the only one you love.
Hey, Drew, you know who Azzy?
Huh?
Sorry, Naya was giving my daughter to her daddy.
But as you were saying, like, you attract how you feel about yourself. And I agree with that 100%. Throughout college, I was, like you said, Michaela, I was going through that phase of who am I? And that's what I attract, someone who wasn't too sure of that, and which kind of rubbed off on me. Is that what the demons you're talking about? Like, I took on some of it.
When we say demons, don't necessarily think of it as like one context. So when I say demons, I mean insecurity is not a god. That's a demon. Anything that's of God is considered to me not of God's spirit.
Hold on, babe. My husband wants to chime in. He said love is the what?
You want a box?
Yes, please. Yeah. Love is what?
It's the hardest, most rewarding thing I've ever got myself into.
He said love is the hardest, most rewarding thing he has ever got himself into.
That's
so. I mean, that says a lot about our story, our journey to marriage. Because we dated for a while. Actually, the first year we dated, I told him I didn't want a boyfriend. I wasn't on that because I knew I had just got out of a relationship, and he was kind of like the rebound. So yeah, that's another story for another day. But so we literally kind of just dated and courted for like the first 6 months, and then I had went to Africa, and when I got back from Africa, we was like, okay, we decided to make it official. Like we decided to be exclusive with one another. Couple years into our relationship, we had broke up, got back together, broke up, got back together. But finally, I was like, you know what? I'm following my dreams. I'm moving to Atlanta. So I got up and moved to Atlanta. And it was in that time, in that moment, that us being separated from each other, where we learned that we actually needed each other. It proved to us who we were to each other. That time apart, that distance really made our heart grow founder of each other.
That's beautiful. Because
it really taught us what we were capable of doing. So in that year of us being apart, we were like, okay, so here we are, what's next? And one day we were just talking, because prior to me moving, he had proposed, and we got engaged. I called off the proposal. I was like, nope, no, thank you, because there's some stuff that you got going on that I ain't feeling. You ain't feeling me. I just called off the whole wedding. So fast forward, I moved to Atlanta, and the whole year, we just talking, whatever, communicating back and forth. He would come down, or I would come home like once a month. And then during that time, we were just like, one day we were just like, I was just like, so, if we were to make this work, would you move to Atlanta? Because I was set on moving to Atlanta. Staying in Atlanta. So he had found his job was there in Atlanta, but it was in Georgia. It wasn't in Atlanta. It was like an hour away. So he would have to travel an hour one way and an hour home, and then he would have to take a $6 pay cut. But he was willing to do it, and I was just like, oh, okay, you love me enough to not only move away from your family, but to take it was like $6.50 pay cut and commute an hour one way and an hour home.
That man loves you.
Like, I can't even ask you to do that because that would be so selfish of me. Marriage is a selfless thing. If you're in it just for what you can get out of it, that it ain't for you, sis. Because you have to be selfless in everything that you do. You have to make sure you take into account somebody else's feelings, somebody else's whereabouts. You have to make sure that they are good too. It's not just about you. And people think that it's all glitz and glam. No, it's about compromise. It's about being selfless. There's some things that you would never think you would do that sometimes I just got to bite my tongue a little bit, even though he pissing me the hell off. But I got to step back and be like, okay, not today, even though I would address it on a regular with anybody else. So it's really, love is about being selfless. We talk about love languages. I can't love my husband the way I want to be loved. I have to be able to tailor my love the way he wants to be loved. So that's just my take on it. Sorry, I was kind of long with it.
No, it's cool. It's cool. That was beautiful because I feel like people don't understand that. They don't understand that love is a selfless act. But I saw this thing where, because me and Aaron were talking about overgiving, how you can overgive and still feel neglected. And I saw this scenario of, whenever you overwater a plant, the plant dies. So you can't just over give and give because because you want them to be happy. When love comes, you got to learn how to love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't love myself for a long time. As much as I promoted self-love and all that, I that. I realized in order for me to love myself and activate myself, in order to put that same energy out, you say, "Oh, we want this now, we want that, oh, we want that." But can you find that in yourself?
Mm. And that's
honestly me on my feet.
No, that's what I'm working on now. Is being that person for myself. So I won't be looking for that person in someone else. And that's where we drop the ball at a lot of times. 100%.
Because I feel like, especially when you come from a 2-parent household, we came from a 2-parent household. So regardless if it had differences or not, we know what it's like. And when we have friends that don't come from the same cloth as we do, we kind of get confused. And when I mean by confused, I'm like, oh, so it's okay for you to do that? No, I can't do that. Like, I'm not gonna say all my single friends promote whole culture, but most of them do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm not bashing anybody. I'm just stating facts.
No.
I had my father in my life. I had my mom in my life. But I mean, certain things, like I said, I was a little in college, but like
You were sure.
I knew from right from wrong. I knew how to treat people. I was raised right. So when people used to come at me, I was so confused because I'm like, I expect this out of you because my dad. You feel me?
Yep.
I expected this out of you, because from what I was taught. But when you don't receive that, it's like you're searching for crumbs.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a world where these men
You
are
said
crumbs.
what? My husband's trying to pose a question.
Go ahead.
You said, sorry, my husband is like in the background asking me all this stuff, and I'm like,
Put him in. Put him in.
go ahead, babe. Babe,
Oh.
what's your question?
I don't have a question.
What did you say about Solomon?
No, I said, man, for me, it was the, I wanted to know the mysteries of it. I asked a lot of couples. I asked a lot of couples who look like they like the total opposite of each other, and they've been married 40 years. And I just asked them, what made it click? What made it happen this long, And once I found somebody I can actually do that with, I felt like it was rewarding. But I wanted to know the mysteries of it.
Even with all the ups and downs, it was like you still was invested.
I mean, because you look at a couple that's been married, 30, and then they should retire 30 years, right? And it could have been some real downright dirty stuff that happened early on, and somehow they made it work. And I know a lot of women of this generation, they look at their parents or their grandparents, and if they told them half the stuff that they've been through, a lot of these women would say, "No way, I couldn't do it." But a lot of those women found a way to make it happen. And now you look at them old age and all their glory, and you say, "Oh, that's what I want," but you don't understand what it took to get there. So I don't know.
So what would be your advice? What advice would you give a young woman hoping to be married, and what advice would you give a young man, searching for his favor?
Advice. Be patient. Don't rush things. Don't even when you feel like you found that right one, don't rush it. Just let it come naturally. Stay disciplined in it. Stay disciplined in it. And then you get this.
I think it's time for us to stop promoting whole culture and actually tell people celibacy is great. Having a relationship with God is great. Being by yourself is okay. Being patient is not easy, but it's rewarding. Because look what you guys have from just being patient and you within
without taking no mess. So I really, I guess for this generation of women nowadays, who this is the I ain't taking no mess generation. So my question is, how do you look at a couple that's been married so long, and you say, "Oh, I'm not taking no mess. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that," having no idea how they got there. How do you get there with taking no mess? How do you do it?
I feel like you have to have boundaries in place, and like if you cross that certain boundary as far as like cheating, domestic violence, then I'm calling it quits. But y'all both gotta agree on ground rules for the relationship and those boundaries and expectations of one another.
Man, I feel like back there, probably, I don't know if it was boundaries.
I don't think it was boundaries, because I feel like the women back then was getting beat. Their husband was having side babies.
I don't agree on none of that, but they put up with a whole lot of stuff, and they made it work for the family.
I ain't making it work for the family.
And the family said the outside looking in, they can definitely see that weighs in on maybe their mental as well. So I don't think staying for the family is a good reason. That's just me.
Well, some people are traditionalists and some people are modern in marriages.
What I'm saying,
So some
because,
people,
like I say, like
Oh, my bad.
Oh, right.
I said some people
Okay, what?
will be looking for a traditional marriage,
I understand that.
and then other people.
Was that Aaron?
That's Michaela.
I'm talking about what she was saying about the family. She said,
Yeah, that
she
was
don't really-
Aaron.
and I can agree with you. You know, that would be my thought. I'm not gonna make it work for the family. However, when you look at these older couples in all their glory, right? And you say, "Oh my God, that's so cute. I want that." And again, you have no idea how they got there. But you know, you looking from the outside, and you like, "Oh my goodness, that's so beautiful. I want that." Right? So again,
But how is that relationship impacting the family? A little girl waking up and seeing her mother beat on and cheated on and things like that. I think, again, there's that should never be crossed. And if they are crossed, that's where you have to leave.
But sometimes, like I was trying to say, like some people are used to that traditionalistic marriage, and other people are now in today's society like, both of us work, both of us do this. Like my mom and my dad, like they went through some stuff, but like everything in their marriage is 100. Everything's gonna be, it's never 50-50, it's 100. It's like it's not easy all the time, and I see it too. But I saw the good and the bad, and nobody in our generation. I'm not gonna say nobody, but it's a couple of people out there that's not willing to put in the effort of compromising.
I'm gonna say that when y'all.
Babe, she's talking.
Putting the effort of compromising. We have a part 2 of this when we done talking.
That's just think
There's a lot to do, this whole topic.
So
He's excited. It's
So
okay.
my
He can come.
please.
Next time because we're gonna do a part 2.
My husband said, please, ladies, don't think of marriage as a business because it is definitely not a business. That is not how you operate a house. Don't just get married for the finances because you will be unhappy.
Girl, my cousin told me that this Nigerian guy, basically told his friend that he was getting married. He was like, "I'm finna spend her money." Like, what are you saying?
Wow.
So they get married. Some of them get married for business, and they just finish cheating and doing whatever. That discourages other women. Like, you say you want an independent woman, but you're using this independent woman.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
it's just hard to become that with me.
We're this we have a lot to discuss. I know our time is running up
Our
here.
time is running out, guys. But here you have it. Hope you enjoyed it. It's coming up and on September the 2nd. It's a Friday. I'm going to check in the post. And that's going to be a part 2 because there's just so much to unfold. But this is Open Discussion. So go ahead, lay your comments out. I hope you enjoyed the video. Ladies, gentlemen, y'all have anything to say? And I hope Adrian can come for part 2.
I'm sure he'll be there.
And we look forward.
All right, ladies, enjoy your night. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.